Hello Libra, this is your forecast for December 2017. Happy holidays. So we have a Mercury retrograde coming in here this month. So get your Christmas shopping done early, especially if you're listening to this on the November end. Do try to get them before Mercury does go retrograde here on the 3rd until the 22nd. So we are good to go right on Christmas. Mercury is then direct, but there's going to be a couple of weeks that just might be a little haywire out there in the stores, and we might get those funky little things where moving parts don't work correctly, and then we'll have to go and return them. So make it easy on yourself, do Christmas shopping early, and try to avoid anything at least really expensive under this retrograde. Now for you, it is going to be showing up in your 3rd house for communication. It rules this area as well. The good thing, there's always an upside with retrogrades, and what would that be here this month? Well, having it in this position, you might be contacting or being contacted by people from the past that you haven't seen for a long, long time. It could be friends from high school and college, that kind of thing. You might be more on the move this month. As I see a lot of to and fro, but that could be you running around doing errands as well. Not only is Mercury here in the 3rd house, but it's in the sign of Sagittarius, right? And that too is very energetic. So it could be a very good retrograde per se, it being a retrograde, as long as we try to avoid signing any contracts. If need be, we have to, the show must go on, but if you can delay any documents and so forth, or starting anything new till after Christmas, better yet, to top of the year, then you're out and clear, right? So let's move on to Venus, because Venus and Mars, they have been moving right along here and working for you in the previous month. Venus will be moving into the 3rd house, joining the party of the Sun, the new moon, Mercury, and Saturn. So it's going to be in a lot of good company, also into that 3rd house for communication, travel, any kind of reviews that you might be having, year-end reviews and so forth, or giving any presentations. You will have the gift of gab, Libra, this month. So I hope that you can make the most out of it. Mars will be moving into to Scorpio, into your 2nd house there in December 9th it is. So you have until the 9th to really work through those things that have been important to you, as it's in your 1st house as we start out the month, like November, where you have been getting all your ducks in a row. You've been extra active and giving directions, I feel, to people around you to get things done. You've been busy. But then after December 9th, Mars will be looking at your financial sector, getting your ducks in a row. Yes, that could behoove you in a sense to really look at where you can make more money, like new avenue streams and so forth. But also, Mars in this area will also mean money going out, right? Expenses. So, but I see you using that discretion. And the nice thing about Mars in this area is that Jupiter in October moved into this area where you're going to have it for a whole year. So Mars and Jupiter, when they work together, they kind of like bounce off each other, don't they? Jupiter expands, it's very abundant, it's just beautiful, it's giving, it's generous. Again, watch money going out, and it could be big sums, but there could also be money coming in. Mars is going to work with Jupiter on this, and Mars too is going to want to spend. So it's going to be a year end where you're going to see money situations come and go. So, but listen, with the focus on mainly on your income house and then your 3rd house for communication, it is because that stellium in the 3rd house is taking nearly all your personal planets into one sector of your full chart. Not saying you're not going to have anything going on out there, which you do. You have your long-term planets, like Uranus in the 7th house, which has been cruising there. You have Neptune in the 6th house. It's been cruising there for quite a few years, right? You got Pluto also in the 4th house for transforming your foundation, your home and family life. Lots of things going on in your foundation. It's been there for quite a few years as well. Those things are the backdrop, all right? So they're just sitting there still and moving slowly. But this is where your scope is going to be for December. Now, what I'd like about this new moon, it's special. We know we always plant our intentions under a new moon. And it being in the sign of Sag, it's all about the future and where you're heading, where you want to go, where you want to end up, right? It's that horizon that we always kind of keep ahead of us, so it pulls us in the direction that we are growing and expanding to. But this month, this new moon, will be conjuncting, sharing the same degree with Saturn. And so it's a sober new moon, but it's also a powerful new moon in the sense that you could feel even more oomph and more groundedness in your intentions. Of course, the new moon will come here every year, but next year it won't. Saturn won't be here, you know, for another 28, 29 years. So I feel that the power of this new moon can really start something for a long-term scale, not just between now and next month or now to next new moon in a year, but for the next 28 years. So you're laying a foundation, and remember, it's in Sag. It's about the future. It's looking at that long-term goal that you might have. Doesn't mean that placing an intention, you have to act on it right away. What it means is becoming conscious of it and saying, this is where I'm heading, this is what I'm going to do. And then take your time to make it all fall into place and work for you. There's no rush there. Saturn always looks out for the longevity of what it is you aim for. Even more so exciting, not only do we have the conjunction between the moon and Saturn, but it's holding this beautiful golden trine up to Uranus, which is in your 7th house for partnership. So maybe there is a new intention, a new chapter opening up for you and your romantic partner, your spouse, whomever it may be, or any partner, in fact, who you work with on a day-to-day basis. Uranus comes with change. Sometimes that change is so invited, maybe you've been praying for it, right? And then boom, there it is. Sometimes change comes when we're not even asking for it, and then boom, there that is, right? And so pay attention to this new moon date, which is December 18th. It's 26 degrees in Sagittarius. If you have any other planets at 26 degrees, so go check your natal chart, this new moon, Saturn, Uranus is going to bounce off and ricochet off those other planets too. So you want to kind of incorporate them and then get the read from it. Since we're talking about moons, let's talk about the full moon as well, which is going to be December 3rd, 11 degrees in Gemini. So for you, Libra is going to be in the 9th house, which has to do with education, research, spirituality, anything where you're growing on a conscious level. You might be traveling too. 9th house is all about travel, more so long distance. The 3rd house is more to and fro, short distance, in town, a little bit out of town, but long distance. You might either be traveling or planning to travel, maybe for the holidays, maybe you're buying tickets on this day, or having confirmation that somebody from afar might be coming to visit you for the holidays. But sure, if you've been waiting for visas or any of those applications or a lawsuit to finalize or whatnot, December 3rd would be a great time. Give a day prior and day after, so I'd say 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. This is where it will be center stage for you. Okay, so that will be good, and it really involves a lot of communication as well, since it's in the sign of Gemini. So we have a lot of actions going on. We got Venus, which is just as we come into the first moving signs out of Scorpio, where you've been feeling a whole lot of deeper and more intense feelings in November, and coming into the sign of Sag, this is December 1st. So emotionally, you're going to be feeling more lighthearted, more happy-go-lucky. Now Venus has all this energy going on there with now Saturn, Mercury as well. So on the 9th, we got Mars changing signs. We did mention that, out of your 1st house, Scorpio, into your financial house. Then we have big news. This is Saturn that's been hammering down on us for the last 2.5 years. Also changing signs this month. This will be December 19th. It will be moving out of where it's been operating, your 3rd house. associations with neighbors and siblings and your closer community and everything communication or written documents or presentations, that's been on you. So Saturn has really gifted you now more with a sense of gift of gab because you've been taking on a lot more responsibility in these areas. But now you will see Saturn operating for the next 2.5 years in the area of your home, all right? Home, family, parents, and so forth. It's also the grounding, the foundation of your life. You will want to solidify it more so, strengthen it. That's what Saturn does. It strengthens each area of our chart that it passes through. It being in the sign then of Capricorn, it rules Capricorn, so it's comfortable in that energy. But you will just see how the foundation of your home is really wanting to really have its sense of worth, put it that way. Some of you will have more responsibility with one or both parents over the next couple of years until Saturn moves into Aquarius, which won't be before 2.5 years from now. So just starting off the month though, we got Jupiter and Neptune, they're trine. Jupiter expands, Jupiter's happy-go-lucky, it's in a good place and beautifully golden trine to Neptune. Now that has to do with hope and vision and spirituality. You know, it's really seeing the big picture of everything. You may feel extremely inspired, Libra, here December 2nd. And Neptune being in your 6th house has to do with your day-to-day routine. Jupiter being in your 2nd house for money and income. Try to fit those two together and see how it fits into your life. You're wanting to expand something that gives you more worth, and also how your daily day-to-day routine might work a little bit more efficiently for you. On the 6th, we have Mercury and Saturn. They're conjunct. We call Mercury's retrograde now. And so this is a talk that you might have. Some of you might have an interview on this day. Now, typically we don't like to start new things, new jobs or anything under a retrograde, but the only exception to that is if you're going back to an old company you used to work for, or say that you applied for it prior to the retrograde, then you're good to go. So this is an important day where you're going to be expressing your long-term vision and goal. Mercury is very fired up here with Mars. Mars being sextile, and Mars also still being in your 1st house. That's you, your personality is coming forward. You are verbalizing that goal that you hold with Saturn. On the 10th, you might get some nice feedback according to this, and or this situation. And there might be some positive, unexpected news from Uranus. We never know, right, what we get there, but it should be happy news. Anything with someone you work closely with might be the one to share that news with you, but it could also be your partner coming to you with something unexpected. Little misunderstanding can take place throughout this day with Venus and Neptune. They're squaring off on each other, so we just want to make sure we're hearing what we're hearing. Whenever in doubt, just question it, right? Don't let anything fester. On the 12th, though, the Sun and Mercury, they're doing good. They're doing absolutely fine there in your 3rd house. This is a day where you can really get a lot of things done. Might be a lot of phone calls. Like I said, too, you could come to hear from somebody from your past you haven't had or been in touch with for a long time. This could be the day that this could happen. On the 15th, even more of it. So whoever you were in touch with on the 10th, it looks like this is like back to back towards the 15th. Now Venus is involved, so there's a sharing, there's a bonding, maybe making plans for, you know, catching up, seeing each other, which is great, and it brings a lot of excitement there to the 16th when the Sun and Uranus, they're in a beautiful trine. So this is between your 3rd house, communication, and your partnership house. On the 20th, Venus is going to do the same thing that the Sun did with Uranus there on the 16th. So you got like 4 days of back-to-back action and sharing and maybe being socializing a little bit more, but a lot of people. Because I see you talking, maybe there's a lot of Christmas parties, office parties going on, and it should all be in great spirits where Uranus is just bringing one surprise after the other. 21st, we have Sun and Saturn. So this is a day where you can really ground some new news. This is the day before Mercury goes direct. It's in this area of the third house, right? And we know now that Mercury is close to Saturn. We know it's coming into that formation, not fully exact to Uranus, but it's close enough to draw energy from Uranus, that excitement, the newness, the new doors opening up, Saturn, which is grounding it, the Sun is here. So by the 21st, I think you know what is going on, right? And this is just going to really expand into the 25th, Christmas morning day, when Venus comes into a conjunction of Saturn. And that's where the Sun was on the 21st. So between these two, the feeling is just feeling really awesome. It feels grounded. It feels good. You're happy to be with your loved ones. You've secured, you've got everything, you've got all your ducks in a row for the holiday event, and you're just simply enjoying Libra. You know, Venus is your ruler, and when it is conjuncting Saturn, it's making sure that you're feeling excellent. Then we're starting, or heading off, should I say, out the month with Mars and Neptune. And that starts you off on the new year, because that's where you're exiting, and that's where you're beginning of January 1st. So what happens when Mars and Neptune are together? Well, Mars is your drive, it's your goal, it's your physical energy, and it's heading down the road to not just enlightenment, but the ideal of what it is you are envisioning for yourself in your life. The power of manifestation comes through these planetary alignments. And so I can see that you're sensing and feeling that 2018 is going to be different somehow. And different how? Well, I think a lot of it has to do with the way you work. We're not talking about career or career change, but the way you work, how you set up your timetable, what time you set off from work to do the things that you love to do, and what it is worth for you. Mars being in that second house, well, it really tells you, is everything just about money, or is it other values that are equally important that you would like now to recuperate and bring back up the spirit? Whatever it is, there's some magical touch to it, and only you will know from your own personal natal chart where these falls as transits, but it's really setting you up for a beautiful 2018, Libra. So listen, have a good one, happy holidays,